Hey everyone, what's up? This is my DIY studio light project, which basically is a do-it-yourself studio light that is made from a custom 3D printed body and a custom PCB which were both provided by PCBWay. Question: is it better to buy an expensive studio light or make your own DIY studio light with custom 3D printed parts and PCB? Well, the goal for making this project was just that. I wanted to make a DIY studio light for my current maker setup as the lighting in my lab bench is not very great. Commercially available light cost above $50, but why to spend money on them when you can make your own studio light? Body can be made from a 3D printer and the circuit can be manufactured by a PCB manufacturer. Also, I'm using this generic FR4 PCB here. But the question here is, do these LEDs produce lot of heat? Yes, these LEDs produce lot of heat. So why I am not using MC PCB here instead of FR4 board for making a better LED PCB that can disperse heat better than the FR4 board? You see, I have added lots and lots of via in this PCB. These via will conduct heat from the top side and transfer that heat to the bottom side of the board, which will result in the heat getting dispersed equally. Then at the back side, there is a 12 volt mini DC fan which cools down the PCB heat. Apparently, metal PCBs or MC PCBs are not wallet friendly. And if I have to use a metal PCB in this project, I also have to use another FR4 board for the LED driver IC setup. So I save a lot by making a single PCB that contains the LEDs and the driver IC setup. Also, the body of this light is made from PETG, which is quite durable plastic, so overall this DIY studio light can sustain heat. So in this video tutorial, I'm gonna show you guys the whole building process of this DIY studio light. So tighten your seat belt and enjoy the ride. These are the things that I use for this build. LEDs, 1.5 ohm resistance, 0.47 ohm resistance, 100 UF capacitor, 63 UH inductor, SS34 diode, DC barrel jack connector, custom PCBs which was provided by PCBWay, custom 3D printed body which was also provided by PCBWay, SIC 9301A LED driver ICs, 12 volt DC fan, the generic small one, and a 12 volt SMPS power supply. Here's the main schematic of this project, and as you can see, it's not very complex. It contains two LED driver IC setup, both with their loads, which is LEDs, connected separately. Their input side is connected with each other, which is the common input VCC and ground. We will supply 12 volt to these two terminals to run this board. With the above schematic, I prepared the PCB in my CAD software. The board outline were already designed in the Fusion 360, so I used its measurement as a reference to make the PCB. I placed the LEDs at the center of board and maintained an equal distance between them to keep things symmetrically accurate. And as you can see, I have placed lot of via in this PCB. Via cover almost 70% of this PCB, and they are here for conducting heat as well as connecting one side of the PCB to the other side of the PCB. Anyways, after I finished the PCB, I exported its Gerber data and sent it to PCBWay for sample. I received the PCBs in 7 days, which was pretty fast. And it also came with a PCB scale, which was pretty cool. I have to say, the PCBs that I received were great as expected. PCBWay, you guys rocks. Check out PCBWay for getting great PCB service for less cost. The next is the PCB assembly process. Before starting this assembly process, I gather all the stuff that was being used in this PCB: LEDs, IC, resistance and diodes. We start first by adding the solder paste to each component pad one by one. Then we place component in their right location in the right order. This pick and place process is pretty long, as I have used 30 LEDs in this project, but after this all we need to do is reflow this PCB. After placing all the components, I carefully lifted this PCB and place it on my DIY SMT hot plate. This hot plate heat up this PCB up to the solder paste melting temperature, which is around 200 degrees Celsius to 250 degrees Celsius. The solder paste melt and connects the component pad with the PCB pads. After ensuring that the whole PCB has been reflow properly, which literally took like 2 minutes, I carefully remove the PCB from hot plate and let it cool down for few minutes. The end result of this hot plate reflow process will be this nicely reflown PCB. The next process is to add THT component on the back side of PCB in the right order: 4 capacitors and 2 inductors. And our circuit is basically completed. Now, to ensure that the soldering process was done without any shorts, I tested this circuit with a 12-volt battery pack by connecting the VCC and the ground with the battery pack's positive and negative port. The next is the main body of this project, which holds the circuit in front and a fan at the back side. I designed this whole project in Fusion 360. The body was made in such a way that we can mount a generic 12-volt mini DC fan on the back side. For this project, the ideal material is the PETG because of its good thermal resistance to a higher temperature. It still melts, but the temperature resistance is far better than the regular PLA. I have an Creality Ender 3 3D printer and it just couldn't print a perfect PETG model. So I used PCBWay's 3D printing service this time. The PCBWay also provides CNC and 3D printing services apart from the PCB manufacturing and PCB assembly. I uploaded my STL files for the body on the PCBWay's FDM quote page and selected the right material for this print job, which was PETG. I ordered the 3D printed main body for this project and received the package in about a week. Here's the custom body that I have received. It looked pretty great considering that the PETG is a hard to print material and they have nailed it. The quality of this print is very high. This service is useful for those who don't own a 3D printer or who just want an SLA 3D print which cannot be made on an FDM 3D printer or a metal 3D print. Check out PCBWay's 3D printing service. Link is in video description. Now let's get back to our main topic, which was to add a 12-volt DC fan at the back side with some M3 nuts and bolts. After this, we add our circuit in front with the M3 screws. But before adding the PCB with the enclosure, I added a barrel DC jack which will be used to connect power to this setup. I added DC fans VCC and ground port with the V in and ground port of PCB, and added the positive terminal of barrel jack with the V in of main PCB and the ground of the barrel jack to ground of main board. Basically, I just connected the VCC of barrel jack, the main PCB and DC fan together and their ground also together in parallel with this wiring schematic. After adding wires, I screwed the circuit on a 3D printed body and our studio light setup was basically completed. This light is small and lightweight and it doesn't have any lithium battery inside. But it's alright as I'm gonna power this setup with an external 12 volt 5 ampere SMPS. For running this studio light, I have used this metal SMPS which is rated at 12 volt 5 ampere. I added this DC jack to the VCC and ground of SMPS and connected the DC jack with the barrel jack. Now in order to check this setup voltage and current consumption, I added this digital voltmeter with this wiring diagram. Right now this whole setup is drawing 11 watts of power, which is okay for now. The current consumption can be changed by adjusting the resistance. So if I want more power, then I have to reduce the resistance value in parallel. Like right now, I have added 3 1.5 ohms resistance and 0.47 ohms resistance in parallel, which is around 0.24 ohms total resistance. To increase the power, we need to make this 0.24 ohms into 0.1 ohms, which can be achieved by reducing the resistance value. So I swapped to 1.5 ohm resistance with an 1 ohms resistance on the both driver IC. And guess what? Now the LEDs are drawing 1.23 ampere at 12 volt, which is around 14.7 watts. An increase in power is little bit, but it also increases the light intensity and lumens. But anyway, this is my current lighting setup. And when I added the studio light in front of this TTO board, the lighting increases drastically. The lighting quality can be increased more if we add this light on the top side or prepare 2 more setups and add them on the left and right side. Why did I added a fan on the back side? The fans circulate air from the back to the front side, which keep the PCB cool from the bottom side, which is beneath the LEDs. This is very crucial thing to do because if you already know, the LED tend to heat up and these LEDs that I am using heat very quickly. Even though the PCB has many wires to disperse the heat properly, this PCB still need a cooling source, which is in this case an old 12 volt DC fan, which I have salvaged from my old NET 3D printer. It even have its company logo. So the $100 question here is it better to buy an existing studio light or build your own with few LEDs and a custom 3D printed body? And the answer is yes. We can make our own DIY studio light, which will save cost, and you can build multiple light box setup for a better lighting solution. For part 2, I will be adding a PWM dimmer to this studio light setup and use 2 color LEDs in it, warm white and cool white. Also, I will increase the length of this whole structure so I could add more LEDs to it and increase its power and lumens. Well, that is it for today guys. Hit the subscribe button if this video was helpful. Also check out this project page for more detailed version of this project along with the documents and the CAD files. Stay safe and I'll be back with another cool project. Sayonara my dudes.